Hello and welcome to Written SiNs Last Rites, where we give you the opportunity to see the Kickstarters that are about to leave Kickstarter one last time. We're going to try to convince you that these Kickstarters are worth not only backing, but for you to actually go and support them, even if it's with a single dollar. We're going to spend the entire show talking about just a few Kickstarters, the Kickstarters that, in fact, won't make it to our next Kickstarter talk next week. Some of these Kickstarters won't even make it to the show that we're about to film today for Kickstarter talk for this week. How this will work is that each Kickstarter is going to get more time than it normally would during the regular Kickstarter talk show. So let's give these Kickstarters their last rites. I am Mr. Anderson, the voice of Written SiNs. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to start off with our new graphic, which I want to hear feedback on. Do you guys like it? I kind of dig it. I wanted it to be something bright and a little bit cheery and dark at the same time. Now remember, we were just talking about $1. $1 can make a dream come true. One single dollar is a vote of confidence that will be reflected to anyone who is following you on Kickstarter. $1 is less than a cup of coffee, but if you even have the slightest belief in the creator, are they worth a single dollar? And remember to share their work on social media. It is totally free to do. So our first project today, we're going to go look at Romy. Romy is brought to us by Dan DeMille. For those who don't know, Dan DeMille is an awesome guy. He's not only a great artist, he's also a veteran, and he's now running a veteran-run company called Valor. And we're actually going to take a minute to look up Dan DeMille on Facebook, because that's what this show is about. This show is about connecting you to the creator as well as the project. So let's take a look at Dan DeMille on his profile. And I am happy to say that I am friends with Dan. Ugh. We're not going to get Dan DeMille. Well, we actually still got Dan DeMille, so that's pretty awesome. So here's Dan DeMille. He's a great guy. He runs Valor Printing, and here's his friend Brittany as Firefox. How cool is that? He was the artist that I saw turn a cosplay into something absolutely jaw-dropping. I was so thrilled by it. Now, as I mentioned, and I mean, just look at that. Just look at the art that Dan DeMille can pull off. He's an amazing creator. I'm just absolutely in awe of him. We're going to look at the art of Dan DeMille right now. So here's his actual page that we've been promoting on Written SiNs, and you guys can see it's some amazing stuff. Definitely spend the time to like it. And he can even show you that, like, you know, here's proof that he's not making anything up for anyone who ever would have doubt. Not that I'm saying Dan has been put in doubt, but I do hear things at times about other creators. I like artists who actually show that they have done the art and show that the pencils and then the inks, as it were. So you know Dan's the real deal. So let's go look at Valor Printing. So Valor Printing is all about paper prints and designs and that kind of awesome stuff. So you can do art prints and all that. And obviously, Dan DeMille's doing that. But here it is. Like I promised you guys, thank you to all the amazing women who serve. Valor Printing is actually comprised of two creators who are, in fact, here we go, who are, in fact, veterans themselves. So if you ever want to know how to support veterans, it's very simple if you look for companies that are ran by veterans. I mean, that makes it really, really simple, doesn't it? So this is who Dan DeMille is. And the amazing thing about it, we're going to see it when we look at the project, is that, and unfortunately can't play the music, even though I love that song, I don't want to get the copyright violation that I can get for doing that. So I'm going to mute it. So as we're looking through here, this is actually the young lady who this entire project is based upon. How cool is that? She's been made into this larger-than-life character. Let's see if we can't make the screen bigger for you guys to see. The artists are and founders of Valor. appreciate your support. They hope to see you at the Las Vegas Comic-Con, so that's kind of cool. They're going to be there. They are veterans. It's a veteran-owned company, so there's a way to support something fantastic, and you know how much of a fan I am of supporting veterans. This project has been brought to life by Dan DeMille, and you guys can see here it's pencils, it's comic design. So once again, you know, this is all Dan DeMille bringing these things to life for you. So, you know, I think that's very important to know that all these little details about them, and that's what this Kickstarter Last Rites show is going to be about. It's going to be about bringing you guys a little more insight into these projects. We're going to try to look at certain aspects of it that you might not necessarily see, and you can see she's experimenting here. Something goes horribly wrong. There's an explosion. Oh no. And oh, there's a giant explosion. And it gets all over her. And what happens is a new hero is born. And she becomes the vigilante that or the hero, I should say, that their part of the world needs. Their city that's been overrun by corporate greed. Now that is actually an acid gun she carries around. How cool is that? Now, you know, some of the imagery in this is a little titillating, but that's okay. You know, I've discussed this before, and I'm going to do a video about sexuality. We like sexuality as creatures and human beings. I know it's not polite in society to talk about suddenly that we like sexuality, but we can watch Prozac commercials and Vialis commercials and the Blue Pill commercials. I'm not even going to say its name to advertise it. It's got enough on TV, but I mean, it is kind of disgusting that we could do all of that. But when it comes to like something titillating like this, like where it's fun and it's a fantasy, that's what this is. Comic books are fantasy, you know? And there's Valor Printing, which is going to proudly bring you this Rami. I think it's Rami. I never got Dan DeMille to come on the show. I wanted to actually ask him. So I'm just going to quickly take you up, and we're going to play this video because I'd seen it. Here we go.
Hail Mary. So they're called Great Dad. They have a thing called headquarters, where it's an open area where you can run around, enjoy your little thing with your friends. Kind of like a part of their open world park.
Now, mind you, I've never watched this video before because we don't get to see it on the show, so I didn't realize how much dialogue there was going to be. So I'm going to take over just talking a little bit more about the project. Stephanie Danielson is actually the wonderful young woman behind the project. I would really like to get to know more about that backstory behind how this all came to be. As you guys can see, there's original art available. This is definitely a project of interest, I would say. And you got some real bad guys. So that's the one thing I kept trying to get Dan on the show for, just to get a little more clarification. There is a thing, a little excerpt about it, and it does add, you know, she's rids the world of scum with this sociopath matter of fact of acceptance of brutal killings, those who are remorseful killers themselves. She is a protector of the weak and defenseless, giving a capicopious voice and fists of steel to the huddled masses too frightened to speak up or fight back. So that's kind of badass right there. So there's a lot of badassness going on. As you guys can see, I'm getting the digital copy. And the reason I'm getting a digital copy here is I'm pretty sure that my wife backed the actual physical copy. But I also know that they have 2 hours to go at this point. It does look like it's a stretch right now, but I mean, even if you're watching this show now and you can show him support, it'll tell him to go again. Like I said, Dan DeMille's a great guy. He could really, really use the support. And sometimes even through failure, we learn. And I know I've done that, and I've come close to failing on a Kickstarter. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong if you fail the first time. And I would love to see this come back. Because, I mean, clearly it looks like it's going to struggle. And, you know, as optimistic as I want to be, let's be honest, with 2 hours to go, it's going to be tight to see it make $4,000. It's possible. Let me tell you, I hope that this program, you know, anything can go viral at any time and bring it to life. So please, please, please help us out. And even if this doesn't fund, talk about it. Talk about Dan DeMille. Talk about how great he is. Let's encourage this to return. And, you know, sometimes it's just a bad time. There has been a lot of Kickstarters lately. We're going to move on to our next project of the show, which is FFC. Now, you guys know we've done a lot of coverage on the FFC brand this past 2 weeks. Got a lot of spoken sins. It is so close now to making goal. You can be the one to bring it to goal. Let's check out FFC. Now, as you guys know, we have had John from the project on. We've had Marcel Dupree on. We had Martinez on here. So, I mean, there's a lot of creators behind this. I mean, this in itself is an amazing project. Every so often, I'll be honest, I'm left kind of wondering what the delay is on being supportive of certain projects. And this is one of them where, I mean, it's got everything that you would need for a great Kickstarter. And I don't quite understand why it's not getting the accolades it should be getting, in my humble opinion. So, sorry, I just need to take a drink there. Angelica Rains, we saw some art for this yesterday from Brian. Brian was sharing it with the world, as it were. And it was from Angelica Rain from Charles Ben Jones, an alternative take. And that was pretty badass. And I am very happy with the Angelica Rains franchise. And the reason I bring this up is I want you guys to understand this, that this has actually brought to life other creations. So it is becoming a launching point for a universe. This, I always pronounce it wrong. I'm going to say Kaishi. I know I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But she is bringing to life some awesome stuff in her own book by Madeline Holland Rising, who's going to be the head writer on it. Sonica, I think I pronounced that wrong too. It's my favorite character. I got to read the second book. I actually read it. It's awesome. And the gentleman's going to be getting his own try at an independent comic book. So when you're backing this project, you're just not backing a simple 2-part comic book. You're backing the beginning of what becomes a giant universe of creation brought to you by, and this is just amazing. We're going to go down to the creators section. Here it is. You got Mr. Martinez, good guy. He's been on our program. Love talking to him. Mr. John Gritz. Oh, just fun to hang out with. We were talking for a while about comic books and nerding out. Speaking of nerding out, good friend of mine, and I am proud to call him a good friend of mine, and I'm very supportive of him, and I know how hard he works. Like when you talk about the hustle and you talk about people working hard in indie comics, he's one of the guys I think of. He's got just a universe in his mind pouring onto the pages of comic books. So he's just an overly abundant, talented guy who I couldn't be happier to call a friend. He owns and operates the Evolutionine Publishing, and I always call that the wrong way, so I apologize for that too. I'm gonna have to just say with the dyslexia thing in my brain, some names I can't get. And you guys watch the show enough know that. But he is amazing. He has been writing on and off for the past 7 years. Some of his comics are Armor One, Delia Blast, POM, co-writer, and he's also on Lucky Shot, which is now on Kickstarter, from Preston Smith. And that just that shows you the commitment to creation, is that he doesn't just have to be the one creating. He can be part of a team that he doesn't control. We talked about that during Spoken SiNs, so it was an awesome interview. Then we have, born in Uruguay, and he moved to Brazil in 2002. We have Lucas Perdomone was born. That's just to make sure the name is under the picture. He started drawing since he was a kid. In 2012, he started to study drawing, and he's a Brazilian comic artist. So that's kind of cool. It's got an international feel to it. Then you have Marco, who's going to become the colorist from Paraguay, Italy. He colors the FFC, so you got an Italian feel with the coloring from like the different colors that you might see in Italy. You got that different international feel, which I always think is interesting. For me, seeing what Satane from Prague did to Fetish Babies was amazing. So being able to do that was awesome. And Brian Flower, he's a professional letterer and flattener. He goes by gonzogoose.com. He has had his lettering work published through Image Comics, Action Lab, Arcana Comics, and many more. And he has flattened base color work, book ranging from Spider-Man to Batman to Sonic the Hedgehog. Brian is also a member of the YouTube channel Comic Frontline, and he hosts a podcast called Zone 4 that began in April 2019. Brian has run, written, and edited several comic news websites and still writes for Comic Frontline on occasion. He also co-founded his own publishing company, Last Ember Press, lampesemberpress.com, in 2015, and continues to produce new content there and on his YouTube channel. Talk about a busy guy. I want to nap after reading what he does. So this is it, man. This is a group that has creators. Like I said, you don't see her here listed. Madeline Holland Rising has joined the group. You got also, I'm having a brain fart on the name here. I'm going to hate myself when I realize the name. Brian, I'm really losing my mind. I gotta look it up. I know his first name is Brian. Brian Hawkins. There we go. Someone I do consider a friend, so I feel horrible that I had that momentary lapse of thinking that didn't allow it. Brian's a great creator. He's the one who brought to life the awesome epic American Kingdom. Just a great creator. We were talking about that art, and that's actually what I'm searching for from Brian. There it is. This is from Charles Brian Jones. Let me see if we can call it Charles Brian Jones up on here. He made that art. Let's see if Charles has it up. There we go. Charles Brian. So this is Charles Brian. If you haven't friended him or followed his art page, you definitely should. Just he does amazing work. Look at that art. And this is what this program is. This is to give you guys a deeper reach and understanding of these Kickstarters that are ending. So we do look at the different pages, and we do talk about the creators more. And that's the point of this program, is to make you understand who you're backing. So now, to be transparent, Charles Ben Jones is actually just doing fan art for this. But I could see him definitely possibly doing something in the future. So I would, while not officially something that I'm going to say is official, but I could definitely see this being an awesome team up. As a fan of the properties, I would like to see Charles do more. And I'll leave it at that. And that's not me knowing something, because if I knew something, I actually couldn't say it. So this is just me with a fan hope. But let's you know, tell him that you liked what you saw. And you do that by simply doing that and being like, Charles, this is amazing. We talked about it on Written Sins, Kickstarter, Last Writes. Keep up the amazing art. A compliment means the world to people. It, you know, while likes are nice, but when someone takes the time to actually write you something, it's amazing. I've gotten emails about my work. I've gotten people tell me. I've had people come up to me at the con and ask me when the second issue is coming out. Those are the driving things that keep you going. So when you're backing projects, also talk about artists, because artists and writers and creators, they need feedback, and feedback is very, very important. So that's FFC. It's an amazing product line. You guys can see you could actually become a character in FFC for 300. That's not bad, actually. It's usually more for other projects. So, I mean, you could be part of something that's going to be huge. You could become a character. You could become an announcer for, I guess, and the announcers are funny as hell. You can become part of the crowd for $80. And you can be a face in the crowd. So I guess if you become this, you get you crowd participation. Maybe you hold up a sign and this is just a face. So there's definitely, you know, there's a lot here. I mean, there's nothing that you can't say you can't find to back. So please take advantage of it. Be part of something awesome. I am getting, and I've already read the book. All right. So I've read the book. There's one left of the thing I got, which was the early bird vet. I have FFC on PDF 1. I have 2 on PDF. So when I'm getting this, I'm telling you, I'm getting this because I like it. You know, I'm not backing this. You guys can see, you know, and there's nothing wrong with getting a PDF. Sometimes PDFs actually help creators, and I try to do PDFs because there's no shipping, no worry about overages. PDFs are pure profit for creators when they're doing something like this. But when I'm a fan and I'm a fan of this, I have to get me a copy. I gots to. And that's what I wound up doing here. I wound up getting a copy. And I can't say anything more about FFC that I haven't said, other than this is a project you need to be backing. And if you don't, you're going to be playing catch up later down the road. And we're all going to know you were playing catch up because you're going to be asking us things that you don't know yet. So don't be that guy who shows up late to the party. Get on board now while the party's hot. All right, we're going to move on to Tomb of Horror. Now, this is ending on the 25th. By the way, FFC only runs till tomorrow. So I just want you to know time is definitely running out on that. So pledge today. Don't take the chance of forgetting. Pledge today. So now I apparently haven't backed this project, which is weird. So we're going to do that today. To Red Christmas. What do I want? There is no video with this. See, here's the problem. I have a little kid, Jax. You guys know him. He's 2. He's getting to the age where he starts looking at my comic books. I don't know if I want this comic book around because we're still on the fence about the whole Santa Claus thing. I'm personally not for having there be a Santa Claus, but I might go a PDF. I know they made their goal, so this might be a PDF book. The choices sometimes. All right, for now, I'm going to do, and I can always come back, and this is the awesome thing, and it's the truth. You can back it, what you have to, and this might actually just go offline for 1 second, Facebook, and if it does, just give me a second. I promise we'll be right back. And there we go. Okay, so now remember, and this is very important, and I talk about this every show. When you guys back a project right here, everyone skips this, tweet it. Let people know that you did this. I'm going to log into Twitter. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can tweet it again. Okay, here we go. Oh, I already sent it. Cool. So, and then go to Facebook and be like, I'm getting my Christmas present early. And then just post it, man. Show your support. When you believe in a project, I don't know why I was doing that. When you believe in a project, there it goes again. When you believe in a project, show support, man. Do what's right. Show some love to a project. That's what you got to do. Now, I've done a horrible job of telling you guys what this actual project's about. So let's hit the reload button. Let's take a step back because I geeked out and I was a fan for a minute. And let's talk about Red Christmas. Red Christmas. A group of friends learn that not all secrets stay buried in this Festivus Frightmare, brought to you by Tomb of Horror. Tomb of Horror is proud to present their first standalone horror comic, Red Christmas. A Christmas Eve party takes a sinister turn when a group of friends accidentally run over Santa. They soon discover leaving Santa for dead comes with ghastly consequences. Red Christmas is a 20-page standalone full-color comic published by Swampline Comics, who brings us some of the best shit, man. The comic is complete and will be ready to be sent out to you in time for Christmas. You could read this to your children. You really shouldn't, I'll be honest. It's probably not a good idea to read this to your children unless they've been really shitty. And then maybe they should know what happens when you fuck with Santa. Check it out here. Remember to send all your angry letters to writtensins@yahoo.com. It's going to be an awesome book. It's got that I Know What You Did Last Summer, but with the twist from Swampline Comics. Look at the alternative art that gets here. The Caretaker coasters. Oh, man, this is awesome. This is like Tales from the Crypt has been reborn into comic book form and in a fantastic updated version. It has been funded, but time is running out. Like I said, this actually ends on the 25th, and that's kind of funny that it ends on the 25th because that's exactly 1 month from Christmas. We're going to move on. Hellion Rising. Now, this one has been a hard sell, and we've watched this video in entirety a bunch of times now. It is looking tight. Here's the 4-minute video. Watch it because there's something.
Hi guys, my name is Sean Paulette and I'm the owner of the comic publisher Comics to Movies. I'm doing this video to garner support for our Kickstarter horror graphic novel called Hellion Rising. But before I go any further, let me pass it over to our writers and creators of this horror tale, Barry Duffield, Lugo out of Spartacus, and Michael Hurst, who I'm sure you will all remember from The Legend of Hercules. Over to you guys.
Are we rolling? Are we rolling? We're rolling. I think we're rolling. We're rolling now, yes. Hi, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Barry Duffield. I'm one of the writers on Hellion Rising. Beside me, the young man is Michael Hurst.
How do you do? Nice to see you all. We're here to talk about Hellion Rising, which has been through many iterations, incarnations.
Exactly.
How did we start with it, Barry?
Well, originally it was based on my experiences on one of those survival TV shows called Treasure Island.
That's right. Eating spiders, no.
Yeah,
cockroaches. Yeah,
That's right.
Whatever they were, it was bloody horrible watching you eat them. But brave man, I couldn't do it.
Protein.
But we had this thought that what if, I don't know how it came about, but somehow, what if people on one of those shows unearthed an ancient evil, went to the place they were told not to go to?
Yeah, absolutely. On the island we were on, there was a Fijian warrior who had been buried on the island, cut to pieces the last of the cannibal humans. And they told us not to go near that grave. So I thought, what if we did? What if we dug that up?
Yeah, and then what would happen? And so we built it up from there, didn't we? It's been through quite a few processes. It's been through an international version, a kind of a great. It can be anything. It can be high budget or low budget. It's really, the idea was always to be really frightening.
So originally we'd written it as, the two of it, with that in, and written it as a screenplay.
Yeah.
So now it's being adapted into a graphic novel, and we're 17 pages in. So what we need from you guys is your help to get the next 200 pages down. It's another 100 pages done.
Yeah.
We have a fantastic artist, and you'll see on the page that there are some of the pages already done. And yeah, we're looking for help to get this finished now.
It's a great story. I think it'll do really well once it gets out there.
Yeah, I like to think of it as scary as all fuck.
Yeah. You know how to say that?
No,
Not
that's
scary.
probably not.
The idea was always to make it really frightening. What is your worst fear? What is the scariest thing in the world? And for me, apart from not getting paid, what is the scariest thing in the world? And you know, we've got some really, really good stuff in there, and great characters too. So
yeah, not going on stage without your pants on, that's scary shit.
Unless it's written in the part, I've done that. You know, I've got a lot. Yeah. So yeah, so have a look and get involved.
Absolutely, it's good night for me,
and good night for me.
So the screenplay has been adapted into a graphic novel, and we currently have 20 pages completed and are seeking funding to help pay for the other 100 pages and associated printing costs. To do that, we need your help. We have some amazing rewards, such as digital versions of the book, physical versions of the book, as well as digital and physical copies of our other horror book, Dead Man's Land. We also have the XCT comic book series collection, with issue 4 just being released recently on Kickstarter. Digital sketches being drawn into the comic book series, as well as a Skype session with Barry and Michael themselves, which I'm sure would be fun for anyone. Now, I'm sure you all know how this works, but if we don't reach our goal, we get nothing, you'll get nothing, and everyone is going to be sad. So help us spread the word by pledging below and then sharing this across all of your social media platforms. Any share, pledge, anything will help us reach our goal. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope that you can help support our amazing project. Till next time, this is Sean.
All right, guys. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? All the different people that are involved in the project. That's kind of badass. For those who are Hercules fans, obviously that's a huge incentive. Now I want to talk about, because it does look like this project might miss. And I want you to, 2 things to know. Just because it looks like it's going to miss, don't expect it to miss. And just because it looks like it's going to miss, don't think it's not worth backing. Because, you know, a lot of times if you miss, you do go again. Because sometimes it really is just bad timing. I mean, the setup of the Kickstarter looks pretty cool. A survival television shooting on an isolated island in South China Seas becomes all too real when a migrant spirit, hell-bent on consuming them, is unwittingly released. So, I mean, it's got a hook right there. It's like Survivor, Poltergeist Survivor. So, I mean, this is definitely a book that's going to be cool when it's finally going to be completed. It just needs help, and that's what Kickstarter is. It's all about helping and supporting ideas, even cool, you know, unique ideas like this one, which I think is pretty cool. I haven't backed it yet, but I'm planning to. I didn't back it. Basically, you guys know how my schedule is. I sometimes do these shows and I get lost on what time it is and how many days are left on things. So I'm just as bad as sometimes you guys are. But I always manage to get them back. And if you're liking our list and saving our list and that's how you're doing it, that's wonderful. Because that way you can always come back and visit it. But I mean, this is a project that does deserve the time of day. I can't say that enough and stress that enough. This is where creativity lives on Kickstarter. And you guys can see the art is kind of badass, very cool. If horror is your thing, it's the way to do it. Here's the artist is Alan Davies. These are concept character from character concept is Carolyn Foster. Kevin Sturge is the character concept 2. These are the rewards down here at the bottom. Now, when it comes to something like this, and I say this all the time, let's say that, and we're going to talk about where a dollar matters. Let's say that you think that, okay, this looks cool, but I'm not totally sold. But I like what the creator's doing, and I want to support the creator. So now if you back it with $1 single dollar, what's going to wind up happening is everyone who follows you, all your friends, and especially if you do the right thing and you share it, are going to know that you back this project. So then they're like, oh, wow, you know, Johnny just backed it. And they don't know how much you back it for. And I want to stress that. Like, there's not, when I share this, and I'll go one even better. I'll actually back it now and I'll show you. Because I'm talking about it. So let's stop talking about it and let's do it. Okay, so I'm hooked. I'm going to get the PDF. Because horror is not really my thing. It's nothing against the project. I'm just not a huge horror person. So we're going to do here, Facebook will be back in 2 seconds once, because it goes through my phone and an authentication process. Don't do me dirty right now, Facebook. I mean, iPhone, there we go. Okay, so now I tweet it. Tweet. I tweet it and I share it. And I go, boom, boom, boom. Waiting on Facebook. Okay, I'm going to put, you got to watch the video to believe. Watch the video or you won't believe who is behind the project. And now I'm doing this because I want people to watch the video. So now, even if the person's not a Hercules fan, they might watch the video and be like, oh, well, who the fuck could it be? Who are I'm not going to believe? So now I put a hook in for it. And feel free to do that, man. Be an advocate for indie comics. I wear a shirt that says it. We got a hat, and I'll even show it. I'm not even kidding about the hat. I'll show the hat for those watching on Facebook and on Kickstarter. You guys can see I even have a hat about it now that says we are advocates for indie comics. And that comes down to also doing things like this, where we actually say things on Facebook positive about something. I know everyone can complain really well, but can you be positive? Can you send a message that creativity is awesome? Can you say, I'm a really big fan of this and explain why? That's what we need. That's what being an advocate for indie comics is. So do that for a project that you believe in. Like Bizarre. By the way, that Kickstarter, the Hellion Rising, ends in, I believe, 4 days. So support them, show love, back it, even if you're just encouraging them to come back for another round. Now, we don't have a video for this one, so I'm going to put on my announcer voice. Let me take a sip of soda, and we'll do this. Okay, here we go. Swap Line Comics presents their newest comic anthology. This is a collection of 14 stories spanning all genres. Bizarre is a 100-page graphic novel showcasing the best art and stories from around the world by some of the finest talents working in comics today. I'm not part of it. I know you think right away I'm part of it. I'm not. I know I'm one of the finest talents. They didn't ask. I would have said yes. I would have said yes, though, for the record. So what's inside? Let's check these out. These are the different projects that you guys can actually be part of. You have Aristal Crusaders. I know I'm saying that wrong. Just go with it. By Paul Bradford, William Allen Reyes, and Eric Korsgaard. This is Fields of Death. Or I guess Fields of Death. No, it's the Starro Crusades, but it's Fields of Death, I guess, is where they are. Looks good. Contact is by Julio Pez, Cesar Eduardo, and Chris Allen. Chris Allen, of course, is one of the actual creators and owners of Swampline Comics, so he's awesome. Across the Void is by Martia Teneklu, Kevin Einhart, and Diflin Sabia Kanasan, and E.T. Dahlman. This is Across the Void. And then we have Exceptional, Exponential by Jeremy Shepard and Mark Cooper, or Matt Cooper. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Matt, for calling you Mark. It's about dinosaurs. I'm fucking hooked, man. Dinosaurs. And then we have Gourmet Delicacies. This is something I think of my wife because she's a pastry chef. That's right. The co-creator of Fetish Babies is also a certified pastry chef. She makes the most amazing cookies. I'm hoping for some for Thanksgiving and be big and fat when I go to Chicago. But that looks fantastic. And this is by Sergio Santinos and Tina Cardoso, maybe. Name Day by Marta Danielle Franco and Robin Joes. Marta, I'm sorry about pronouncing your last name wrong. I'm just not even going to try again. Looks fantastic. Then you're also going to have Night Sky by Daniel Horowitz and Estella Lornaco. Now, that should be a show itself that's a drinking game. You guys should make a drinking game every time. Now, don't do it, because I was going to say every time I'd say a name wrong that you guys drink, but I could actually kill someone with that. But please, please accept my apology. I'm not doing it on purpose. I swear to you it has something to do with my dyslexia. I do have trouble pronouncing certain words, so I do apologize. Red Riding Hood by Raphael Sales. That one was easy. Robin Stew, Escape from Slave Camp, number 9. Jack Wallace, Andy Thurman, June Filetis, and Chris Allen is back on another project in the book. Soldier by Carlos Silver, Felipe Dorant, and Chris Allen. That's a badass soldier costume. And Starcourt, The Path of Carrots by Inés Garcia and Tiago Cruz. And then our Chosen Riders, which sets this book on fire with Jack Wallace, Andrea Stalzerschmidt, and Chris Allen. I am really horrible with names sometimes. System Crash by Brian Randell, Martin John, and Nikki Sherman. Finally, a win for me. Probably pronounced one of those wrongs anyway, but that's kind of cool. Look at the art in this. This art is like, wow. You know, this really is some of the best shit. I always say it all the time, man. Swampline brings you some of the best shit out there. Woman in the Moon by Jack Wallace, Chris Allen, and Nick Hadley. And then that's it, man. But it's not even like that's it. That's just so much. Wow. Wow, that's a lot of great shit, man. This is like fantastic. Look at all these stories, man. Different art styles, different types of storytelling. This is what an anthology should be. When you crack open that book, it should feel different from story to story. I always think of the Skrulls from Marvel when I see that guy. But I mean, this is just so interesting, and you get the side-by-side comparison, the two different worlds and how they talk about things. So, I mean, there's definitely creativity here. I have done the digital comic, as you guys see, and like I said, sometimes I also do that because I know, especially for Swampline, I know they're across the pond. So I try not to get books that would be costly to send because I know because I'm not local to them, it is a little bit more. So I do try to only get PDFs. I hope to make it to England in the next 5 years and just buy a shitload of them and bring them back in a suitcase. So I'll probably have to buy a bag to get some of the stuff. But England is on my radar to get to. So I'm coming to England. I'm going to cross the pond just for you guys. All right, so that's Bizarre, and it's funded. It's got 6 days to go. This one actually almost makes our next show. Our next show will be scheduled because we're doing one later today. And the format of Kickstarter Talk Last Rights will generally be Mondays from now on or Tuesdays. So we're accurate, but we are doing Kickstarter Talk later today. So this, just as an example, this show is already running 45 minutes, but we really got to talk about these Kickstarters and take time with them. And that was the original concept of Kickstarter Last Rights, was I get to bring you more information about these in these particular projects. There we go. I finally got it out. We're going to move on to, I believe, oh, we have 2 more to go. So now Tits, this is just a collection. It is a way for you guys to catch up. It's not a graphic novel. It is not a trade. It is simply the first 5 issues sold in a pack. So I'm going to play the video, let Colton do the selling for us.
Hi, I'm Colton Searles, and along with my brother Casey, we are the creators of Transmigrant Interdimensional Taxicab Service, also known as TITS. This Volume 1 Kickstarter features 120 pages of story art by David Gunwin and colors by Yves Amador. These books are done and will be mailed out before Christmas time. Take a look at this short video to see the art for yourself. Thanks for watching.
That's gonna. Sorry about that, guys. That was a phone call. One downside to these actually going on that. So this is Tits, and it's amazing. We're gonna move on to our final project. Now, the reason we're not talking about this too much, just as an example, is this really is just a collection. It's not something new. It's already made $1,000 on a $250 goal. It is amazing, though. Let me just tell you that. This project has been one of the ones I've been so proud of being able to support, and I have every issue myself. I am thrilled to be a backer of this. We're only cutting it short simply because it is just a collection pack, which is perfect for Christmas for anyone you know. But other than that, there's not a lot of new stuff to talk about it. You can find out more from the past videos we've done and the more the coverage we've done on writtensins.com. We are going to go to our last Kickstarter, and this is about Pyramid Nights. Now, this is an awesome concept. It's about what the pyramids are, and I'm going to let the creator talk for us. This is a 5-minute.
Come with me, the devil may turn out.
That was the sudden stop, as you guys can see. Well, tried to get from behind the customer. When I'm behind the camera for Facebook and Kickstarter, you guys probably see the glare and the reflection. That can't be. It goes again. So this is a fantastic project. I've been talking to the creator about it a lot. We had him on the last Kickstarter talk. This is awesome. This is one of those projects you're probably missing out on. This is his first Kickstarter, so he didn't have a lot of things set up. Like you typically know, it's a bare bones Kickstarter because he's not doing a lot of flair for it. Don't be discouraged. He's a real creator. He's a really cool guy. He's got some amazing thoughts. If you want to know more about him, check out the Kickstarter talk from 2 weeks ago, and you can actually hear him talking about this project. And I was very thrilled to have him on to give a lot of exposure to the ideas that he had. And the idea that we don't really understand the pyramids, and we were even talking about how the recent find in the pyramids and all that. So it is an awesome idea. As always, we're gonna talk about who to sponsor this program. And today, I decided to bring back Kickstarter Last Rites and have us be the sponsor. Written SiNs. Written SiNs is the support system for indie comic book creators, and for fans, it is the home of new creations that fans have been dying for. I've got to add a "been" in there. Been dying for, that challenges and defeats the reboot culture. So subscribe to our main site, join our Facebook group, which allows creators to post their projects and information so we can run it on writtensins.com, and like our pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, plus subscribe to our YouTube group. This has been the first of what will hopefully be many of Kickstarter Last Writes. The cool thing about the Last Writes program is we can kind of film this at any point we need to. It can rotate because depending on when the Kickstarters are ending. I'm being summoned and called. As you guys can see, it's holidays busy time, and I've got some things with Chicago coming up, so I got to jump off now. Thank you for tuning into the project. I don't think anyone actually asked any questions. I thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you at Kickstarter Talk later today. For those who watch this video later on, of course, just search Kickstarter Talk for the Kickstarters that still have more time. I appreciate your time, and happy Thanksgiving.